Welcome to Audacity Works, a podcast inspired by and dedicated to the working artist, the creative entrepreneur, and generally, doing the damn thing. This exists on the premise that the world belongs to those who have the audacity to believe that their lives have value. This is for you. Welcome to Audacity Works. I'm your host, Rachel Strickland, and this is episode number 164. And it's about the winter solstice. Because this episode will air on Wednesday, December 17th. That's tomorrow. I waited till the very last minute because it's low work December, and I didn't feel like doing shit. Not shit. But what that also means is that the winter solstice is on the 21st. Now, I'm not going to go into like the long and rich and vibrant history of humans celebrating the winter solstice, mostly because I can't be arsed to do the research during low work December. But I will tell you what it means to me, and maybe give you a couple of ideas for how to observe it yourself. I know that the name for this holiday on the witch calendar is Yule. I don't like that word. I don't like the way it feels in my mouth. So I don't call it that. I call it the winter solstice. It's just got nice, sharp, clean lines in those words. Now, personally, the thing that I have the hardest time with around this holiday is that it's cold, and, you know, up here, Northern Hemisphere, it's cold, and I hate being cold. The dark doesn't bother me as much, and that it's a very privileged thing to say, because the reason it doesn't bother me that much is because I'm in charge of my own schedule, and I can go outside, and I do. If I were driving to work in the darkness and driving home from work in the darkness, I would be a mess. But it is that time of year where regardless of what traditions you observe or not, if you observe solstice, I do. If you observe Christmas, I do, because I have a family and they all observe Christmas, and I'm not gonna like miss out on a good time. So I do both. But alongside that, we're all keenly aware that 2025 is coming to an end, and it's very popular at this time of the year to do some introspection, do a year in review. If you don't know what that is, I've described it on the podcast before, but it is, there goes my heat. Okay. It is an exercise that I learned from Tim Ferriss. I've been doing it for lots of years, and it just gives me a pretty clear view of things not to do next year, and also what absolutely must be put on the calendar. I'll put a link to that. He explains it better than I do. As well, I have not actually watched this, okay, but my mom sent me like an hour-long YouTube video that was an interview with Mel Robbin. I like Mel Robbin. I think she's pretty brilliant. Like I said, didn't watch it because I hate watching YouTube videos, so I'm not going to do that, but you can. I'll link it for you if I can find it. And it's also a sort of like Mel Robbin's take on the year in review. And from what I can remember that my mom told me, it's basically the same thing, like what to absolutely not do and what to make sure you make room for. You may be asking yourself, Rachel, why are you talking about year in review and other things like that when you said you were going to talk about the winter solstice and how you observe it? But my answer is that those are one and the same, because winter is such a prime time for introspection, for going within, for making choices and zooming out, giving a bird's eye view of your life and what you would like to change. If it were the heat of summer, I would not be doing this stuff. I would be outside. But no, it's cold. It's dark. I don't want to go outside. Another winter solstice ritual that I do, this is more like seasonal. It's not on the day. I'll get to the day in a little bit. But it's choosing a word of the year. and burning my old word of the year. My word for 2025 was evolve. I knew there was a lot of things that needed to change, and so I sat patiently and awaited brilliance. Mostly that didn't happen because I kind of forgot that a core aspect of evolving is that evolution happens really slowly. Now, it did happen, and I know things that I'm going to be doing in the future, and I know things that I'm not going to be doing in the future. Most notably, it's that the next cycle of the Audacity Project, cycle 30, which is going to be onboarding in February, is going to be the last of its kind. And it's the end of an era. And if you'd like to get on the wait list for that, that's definitely the place to be. If you want to participate in it, I'll put that link in the show notes for you as well. As to what takes its place next, that is still evolving. But I do know that this free course that I'm making on desire and how to reconnect with your desire, it's a 5-day free audio course, little short audio morsels and exercises to do. I know that that's the foundation for what comes next. This is something I just really wanted to offer for free. I'll put a link to that in the show notes. It's going out in the land outside of time, December 26th to the 30th, where nothing seems to matter and time is not real anyway. So we may as well rummage around in our rib cages. I'd be happy to facilitate that for you. I'll be doing it with you. And I'm very excited about it because I know that this is the seed being planted here in the darkest time of the year that's going to grow into what comes next. Now, let's talk solstice itself. The most obvious thing that I would recommend that you do is to pick your favorite people and go do stuff with them. Like, pick a place, pick a time. Don't put all the labor on yourself. Make it a potluck or whatever. Gather and then just be together. Good advice at any time of the year, but especially potent around this turning of the wheel. So I will be doing that. I have an invitation to a lovely witch friend and her family's home. And I'm going to go and eat a bunch of food and look around and give thanks for the fact that I know people in person here where I live. The reason I know people in person here where I live is because connection was my word of the year in 2023. And I took that very seriously. I took that responsibility seriously. I'm like, I need more people. Shout out to like my OG friends here in Charleston. Most notably, Vanessa Sarah. We have moved here. She and her husband moved here during the pandemic. And for like years, we kind of only saw each other because one, it was the worldwide panini, and we already knew each other. And it's not like we could go out and meet other people. So yeah, that would have been a very lonely time without Vanessa. And since then, I'm very grateful to have made the acquaintance of a handful, and all I need is a handful. Yeah, I heard it. Anyway, of a handful of people, women that I really connect with and love and trust. And that is worth celebrating, especially now in the darkest of the year. And now I'll give you a different ritual. This is one that I actually came up with when I was a kid. I think I was 11 when I learned what the solstice was. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. So this is the longest night and the darkest dark, and then the sun will slowly come back. I know. And I devised a ritual for myself where I would take a bath in total darkness. Now, in my little kid brain, it was so I could have some more appreciation for the light by immersing myself in the darkness. And this was easy to do because our bathroom when I was a kid was inside of 2 rooms. So it was many doors away from any natural light. which wasn't a problem anyway because it was getting dark at 5 p.m. So I would draw a bath and take my little candle, turn off all the lights, shut all the doors, and just get into the bathtub with my one tiny little candle and then blow it out. And then just sit in the darkness, in the water, take a bath, think about stuff in my 11-year-old brain. It's now a 43-year-old brain. In some ways it works better, in some ways it works worse, but always a good time. And then if I could, I'd try to get out, dry off, and get back to my bedroom carefully and slowly in total darkness. I'd actually quite forgotten about that until I was with my coven, and they were like, "What do y'all do for Solstice?" I'm like, I just remembered. As a kid, I used to take a bath in total darkness. So I'm going to bring that back. I think I'm excited about that, and that's something that I can do on the day of. I invite you to as well, very carefully, safety first. Don't cause a trip hazard for yourself. But it's not just that I want to appreciate the dark side of human nature, which I do, or the dark side of my own nature, which I do, but just to familiarize myself with the dark itself. Because, yeah, I'll sit on the couch and it'll be 6 p.m. and I'm like, it's dark outside. It's not dark inside. I've got my lights up. The holiday tree's all lit up. I'm never just sitting in the darkness to spend time with the darkness itself. And for being a descriptor that's relevant to so many of my interests, it seems appropriate that we should spend some time together. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to make a little note here for all of you. With all of the introspection and all of the, look at your life, look at your choices, pick a a word of the year, and decide what you're going to put on the calendar, what you're definitely not going to do. I think there's value in all of those. I also know that it's all labor. It's all work. So if you don't feel like doing any of this shit, don't do it. I know it's convenient when there's like less work going on perhaps, or you have a holiday, it's dark outside, it's cold outside. But if you don't feel the pull to do this kind of work, don't do it. You can easily do it at any time. And I just wanted to say that because I don't want you all shooting on yourselves just because I sat here and gave you a list of like, here's a bunch of smart shit you can do that's definitely going to give you insight into your life. But only if you fucking want to. I've just summarized my entire life's work. Do what you want. Don't feel bad about it. Okay, my friends, I'm going to keep this super short and sweet because it's low work December, and say thank you so much for listening. There's oodles of links for you in the show notes. I would love for you to join me for 5 Days to Desire. I'm very excited about that. And of course, afterwards, Woo Corner will be coming out just a couple days later. If you have ideas and requests for future episodes, you can reach me always on Instagram at Rachel Strickland Creative or on Patreon at Rachel Strickland Creative. This podcast is powered by Patreon. So extra special shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for making this and me, by extension, possible. This could not exist without you. Until next time, my friends, happy solstice. And the darkness in me sees and honors the darkness in you. Don't go back to sleep.